What's good, everybody? It's your boy Legacy, and for the last video today, I'm gonna be watching the 10 reasons why Michael Jordan is the GOAT. You already know how I'm rocking. The last video I was reacting to was 35 minutes. This one's 18. Let's just go ahead and get into this.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel.
What
and
up?
today we're going to be talking about the greatest basketball player of all time. That is Michael
Allegedly.
Jeffrey Jordan. And I'm going to be giving you guys 10 reasons why Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time.
They better be good, too.
Now,
Don't give me
before
no
I
whack
dive
reason.
in, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel.
I'm not subscribing until you say something I like.
Because that'll help me out tremendously.
So y'all go subscribe.
Also, if you find this video very informative, send it to other people who think
saying
Jordan
too
is
much.
the GOAT or doesn't think he's the GOAT. I think this video will
I'm
change
already
a
a little
minds
on
and
edge.
even reassure things you already believe. So with that being said, let's get into the video. So first up at number 10 of why I think MJ is the GOAT is because he is the greatest scorer in NBA history.
If you watch my last
When it comes
video
to
I just
scoring,
reacted
Jordan
to,
is first in regular season points per game.
at the
He's
end of it,
first
I
in
said
playoff
that.
points per
I
game,
said he's the
and
greatest scorer
first
I've ever
in
seen.
finals
So
points per game. He has the most
so far, they're
averaging
1 for
over
1.
30 points per game, and he also has the most playoff runs, averaging over 30 points per game. And when it comes to the playoffs, Jordan is also impressive, having the most 50-point games as well as the most 40-point playoff games. He has the most consecutive 10-point games in NBA
Eight
history.
playoff games of 50 plus, 38 with 40
That is
plus.
playoffs and regular
God
season included.
damn.
He also never scored under 15 points in a playoff game, and he has
Never
more
scored under
50-point playoff
15?
games than he has sub 20-point playoff games. Another
Those are
impressive
some-
scoring feat.
Those are some
Also
fire
on
stats,
NBA's
but that
resume,
said
he's a
never
10-time
and not
scoring
never. I'm
champion,
just letting you
the
know.
most ever. He won 7 consecutive
10
scoring
times
titles,
scoring
also
champion.
the most ever, and he led the playoffs in scoring 10 different times. Again,
10
the most
times
ever,
scoring
with 6 of those
champion.
years being consecutive.
Now that's a big,
Again,
that's
the
a big
most ever.
standout.
And Jordan in his career averaged over 40 points per game in a playoff series 5 different times. And he's responsible
Averaging
for 5
40?
of the 7 highest scoring playoff series in NBA history. And when it comes to the NBA Finals, he has the highest points per game average for a final series at 41 points per game. And the cherry on top,
Hey,
he also has the
at
highest
the end of the
playoff
day,
game
though,
in NBA history.
you can do all this
at
if you're a ball hog.
63 points.
I'm
So
just
that is
adding
why
that.
I think
I'm just
Jordan
adding
is
that.
the greatest scorer of all time. Now, in addition to being a great scorer, Jordan was also dominant on the defensive end, and that is reason number 9.
I heard he was good
dominant
defensively.
on both ends of the court, offense and
That's
defense,
nasty.
making 9 all-defensive first teams, the
9
most
of
ever in
them?
NBA history. He was an MVP and a Defensive Player of the Year in the same season, and he was the first player to ever accomplish that feat. He was also the first player to ever have 200 steals and 100 blocks in a single season, and he is still the only
In
one
one
in NBA history
season?
with multiple 200 steal, 100 block seasons. In addition to that,
What?
he led the NBA in steals 2 times. And
Oh,
he's
so
the
he was
second most
hell of a
blocked in NBA
defensive
history
player.
for a shooting guard. And in his prime, he could guard 1 through 4 fairly effectively. He couldn't guard 5s, but 1 through 4, he could definitely hold those guys.
He
And
could
at
guard
his
all of
absolute
them.
peak,
Just letting you
he was
know.
explosive, had great quickness, and he was a dynamic defender. And later on in his career, he was a much smarter defender, had a much higher basketball IQ and a defensive IQ. He was more measured, he didn't gamble, but still he was a great team defender as well as a great individual defender, and that separates Jordan from all the other great players in NBA history. Now, something else that separates Jordan from virtually every other player in NBA history is that he never folded in the finals, and that is reason number 8. If you go through NBA history and look at the top 10 players of all time, all those guys had a down moment in the finals. Tim Duncan in 2013 had the horrible missed layup. Magic in 84
Don't say nothing about
choked
LeBron.
numerous times at the free throw line,
Or
as well
2011.
as driving the clock out. Bird in 81 did not play up to his great standards. LeBron in 2011 absolutely choked. Kobe in 04 shot his team out of the series. And Kareem in 84 looked old, and he looked washed on the
There's some
biggest
things we
stage.
didn't have to
For
talk
Jordan,
about.
you simply cannot look to any moment in the finals where he didn't show up for his team in 91
But he
through
did
98,
get bounced out in
being
the
a
first round a
six-time
couple
champion
times and
winning
only
all
had
6 of those times. Now, something else very impressive at reason number 7 is that Jordan is the best playoff performer in NBA history.
I ain't
When
trying
it
to hear
comes to
that.
playoffs, he's the
I
all-time
ain't trying
leading
to hear
points
that.
per game scorer.
Nope.
He has the most
Invalid.
points ever in a playoff run. He has the most 30-point games in a playoff run. He has the most 40-point games in
Because if
a
we're talking
final
about
series.
just
He has
playoffs,
the most playoff runs.
he's been
averaging
kicked
over
out of the
30 points per
playoffs
game.
a lot of
He has the
times.
most series averaging
we're
40
talking
plus
about
points per
finals.
game. He has the highest scoring average in the finals, as well as the highest scoring average for a final series. He was only outscored in one playoff series ever.
I
That was
just be
his
sorry.
first ever series, and he only averaged less than 30 points per game one time in his career for a playoff run, and that was also his rookie year, where he averaged 29 a game. Also, some
Averaged
great
29
evidence
his
of why
rookie
Jordan
season.
is the greatest playoff performer of all time. He has the most 50 and 40-point playoff games.
Didn't we just
He has the
read
most
that?
consecutive
Don't
10-point
don't
playoff
you
wins
be
in
doubling
history
up on
at
stats to make stuff
1,072.
look
And for
extra
keeping
good?
count, Jordan in his career only
Still
played
impressive, though. 38
1,072
playoff
games.
games.
So yes, he never scored under 10 points in a playoff game. And I think when you
Wasn't
talk
that
about Jordan
15
in
the
the
first
playoffs,
time?
he was always an unstoppable
I
force,
swear
a
it said
great
under
scorer,
15
a
the
great
first time.
all-around player on defense, passing, rebounding. He could do it all for your team. And the only way you could stop Jordan is if you played like the Pistons or like the Knicks, and you had 4 guys focusing on him at all times. If you didn't have a great team defense and a great team chemistry, you weren't even going to compete with Michael Jeffrey Jordan. So all those reasons are why I would say that Jordan is the greatest player performer of all time. Now at reason number 6, we have the fact that Jordan
LeBron
dominated
went to
his era.
8
From
straight
91 to
playoffs.
98, Jordan won 4
I mean,
MVPs,
finals,
6
F that.
championships, 6 finals MVPs, the 6-time scoring champion. He made first-team All-NBA and first-team All-Defense 6 times.
Impressive.
And his team during that stretch was absolutely dominant. They won 60-plus games all but 1 year. And 2 of those years, they won 72 games and 69 games. And
Had
during
some
that
pretty good
whole
players
stretch,
on his team,
91-98, when the Bulls had Jordan playing, they never lost 3
Please
games
don't kill
in a
me
row
for that in the
in
comments,
regular
bro.
season
I'm not trying to
during
hear
the
about how
playoffs.
LeBron had D
An
Wade and Chris
absolutely
Bosh.
staggering
I'm
stat.
not trying to hear that
And when
shit
Jordan
at
was
all.
playing, his Eastern Conference was one of the toughest conferences in NBA history.
Had a
You had
depleting
Ewing's
D
Knicks,
Wade and
Larry Johnson's Hornets, Mark Price and Brad Daugherty's
Reptar.
Cavs. You had Shaq and Penny on the Magic, Tim Hardaway and
I'm
Alonzo
tired,
Mourning on
bro.
the
Don't
Heat.
listen to me.
You had Mutombo's Hawks and Reggie Miller's Pacers. Some all-time great teams that Jordan prevented from
That's
winning
iconic
championships.
to do to
And if you want to
Mutombo.
know how dominant Jordan was with his team during that stretch, they were 19-1 versus the East, 6-0 versus the West, 25-1 versus the NBA. They beat 10 50-win
that
teams
math.
and 7 60-win teams. The NBA at this time had absolutely no chance with Michael Jordan on the Chicago Bulls. And if you still doubt how good Jordan's competition was that he dominated, I want you to look at this. Out of the toughest playoff runs in NBA history, ranked by opponents' win percentage, Jordan's Bulls have 3 out of the top 10 toughest playoff runs in NBA history: the 97 Bulls, the 98 Bulls, and the 93 Bulls. The
I
only
feel it.
other team that has 3 runs in the top 10 is Kobe's Lakers. So that right there goes to show you that Jordan had some tough
feel
competition,
it.
and he still dominated that great competition.
Yeah.
So
Can't
that
deny
is
that
reason
one.
number 6 of why Jordan is the greatest player of all time. Now at
Stop
reason
saying
number
that to
5,
me.
we have the fact that he never created a super team.
Bro,
And like I
stop
said, Jordan was
it.
playing in the Eastern Conference. And early in
Stop
his
it. He
career,
left the Bulls
was
and they
getting
were
beat
still
down
over
by the Celtics,
500,
as
bro.
well as the
Come
Pistons
on.
numerous
The Bulls
times.
without him
And
aren't a
during
super
that
team.
time,
The Bulls
he did
with
not
him
leave
are a super
Chicago
team.
and go form another dominant super
Get
team.
out of here,
He
bro.
stayed with the Bulls and he stuck with the process, and he ended up winning 6 championships because of that. Other modern superstars like LeBron, KD, Kawhi, they have left their team numerous times to go form other teams with other all-stars. Jordan simply did not do that. He stuck with his team and his one all-star teammate. That
Don't
being
get me wrong.
Scottie
What he's saying is
Pippen.
a fact.
And that
It's
kind
just,
of
I'm
segues from the
tired of
point
hearing it.
that Jordan never played on a super team. And I'm going to say that twice. Jordan never played on a super team.
Bro, neither did
He played on a
LeBron.
really
And
good
don't
team
say the
that made
D
some
Wade
good
team was
draft
a
picks
fucking
and some
super
good
team.
free
Sorry,
agent
excuse my
moves.
language.
But
Don't
those
say that
Bulls
was a
teams
super
were
team.
not a super team. The first three-peat Bulls were a team that was built around Jordan, the young Scottie Pippen, who was entering his prime. The role players they had were decent role players. You had guys like B.J. Armstrong, John Paxson, Bill Cartwright, Scott Williams, and Horace Grant, who's underrated. But outside of that,
As
you did not
hell,
have
Horace
much
Grant is
help for
extremely
Jordan, and
underrated.
that team was not a dominant super team.
I just said that.
Now,
to
when
say
talking
that,
about
to
these
be
second
honest.
three-peat Bulls, they did add Dennis Rodman,
I
but
don't even
still
know
they
who
were
that
not a
is.
super team. And Rodman at this time was still a great defender, but he was not in his absolute prime. His prime was on the
Pippen,
Detroit
Rodman,
Pistons, not
and
on the
Jordan. And
Chicago
you just
Bulls.
talking about, well, he
And
wasn't
this
in
Bulls
his
team
prime
also,
yet.
once again, had Scottie Pippen, but this time Pippen was older, and he dealt with a lot of injuries during the
Look
second
at that, bro.
three-peat.
See, now
You had
you're making
Ron Harper, the
excuses.
solid defender.
Now you're like, but
Steve
he was
Kerr, a
older
solid
here.
shooter.
And then before
You had
that,
Tony
you were like,
Kukoc
but he
off
was
the
younger
bench, a
here.
great
Shut up.
sixth man.
I'm not
They
trying to
had
hear
Luke
that. That's
Longley, a
biased.
solid big man. And that Bulls three-peat team was undoubtedly a great team. but they were not a super team. And Michael Jordan, he never played on a super team, and he never joined a super team. Now at reason number 4,
And that makes him the best ever?
Is the most clutch player
That doesn't
in NBA history.
make sense.
And if you go through all the film, you can find numerous times
He's not
Jordan
the clutchest.
hits clutch game-winning shots.
He's not, because LeBron has the most
And if you want
playoff
to look at the NBA Finals, Jordan has some
tying
iconic
and
moments.
go-ahead buckets.
Of course, in '98,
if I
he had the
remember
amazing
that
shot
correctly.
and that entire amazing sequence down the stretch. In
But then
97,
again,
he had the
there is
buzzer
the
beater
argument
in
that
Game 1,
LeBron
and
played
he
longer
also
than
had a
Jordan, but y'all
clutch
can't be
three
using
in
that
Game
against
5 of that
LeBron.
series,
Like,
which
he's
was
supposed
the
to be
full
like,
game.
oh, Jordan only
And
played
if you
this
look
many
at other
years, let me just
forgotten
play this
moments
many years.
in the 91
Nah,
finals,
that's just not
he had a
fair. If he can
big-time
play
shot
until he's
that
50,
tied the game
play until you're
and sent
50.
it
And of course, you're going to
overtime.
break every
In
record.
92, he had these series
I ain't
clinching
hear
free
nothing this
throws
clown
that gave
just
the
said.
Bulls their second
Sorry, he's not a
championship.
clown.
In '93, he had numerous
upset.
clutch plays on the stretch, and he had all but 2 of the Bulls' points in that fourth quarter. Now,
All but
that
2
right
of the
there
points?
is just watching
That's
the
impressive.
games and seeing how good Jordan was. But if you want the actual stats of how clutch Jordan was, I'm going to show you right now. And unfortunately, these stats only go back to '97, so we don't have data for Jordan's prime. But just looking at Jordan's stats in the clutch and his fourth quarter stats in the '97, as well as the '98 playoffs, here is what you get. Jordan, for both these runs, keep in mind both these runs, was first in fourth quarter points per game, first in fourth quarter total points, first in fourth quarter finals points per game, first in fourth quarter total finals points, first in clutch points per game, which would last 5 minutes a game with a score within 5 points. He was first in total clutch points, and he was also first in total clutch time points.
There wasn't that many clutch people back then. Were
That is
there?
for both the '98 as well as the '97.
I don't know. I just be
playoff
talking.
run.
Don't
No
pay
other
what
player
I
in
say
NBA
too
history
much mind.
was first in all those categories for a single playoff run besides Michael Jordan, and he did that twice back to back. So if you want to go the stat route on who's the most clutch, that right there is some damning evidence.
No,
Now,
it's not.
another thing I want to look at is how Jordan performs in the big-time games. In Game 7's Jordan for his career only went to 3, but in those
Let's talk
games,
about when he got
averaged
bounced out in the
34,
first
8, and
round.
7. In elimination games, Jordan averaged 31, 8, and 7. Once again, very good. And in the final game of a series, whether that be a Game 5 in the
took
first
LeBron
round or Game 7,
18
Jordan
seasons
averaged
for that to
37
happen,
points per
man.
game, 7.2 boards, and 6.6 assists. So Jordan definitely showed up in the big-time clutch games. Now, at reason number 3, we have the fact that Jordan is the most influential player in NBA history. And entering the league, Jordan was drafted in '84, and that was when Magic and Bird still in the league. And after they retired, he took the torch and became the face of the NBA.
I'll
and
give
with
it to
Jordan
him.
being the face of the league, he took the
I was
game
gonna say, I would
below
say
the
Kobe
19
just because
Olympics.
most
He was
people,
the most famous American athlete
they
at the
shoot,
time,
they say
and
Kobe,
he
but Kobe got
revolutionized what
everything
it
from
meant
Jordan,
to
so
be an athlete
had to
on and
originate
off the
somewhere.
court, with endorsements as well as shooting.
But if we're talking about
And Jordan, he really
influential
was the first
outside the
global
court,
NBA
it's definitely
star
LeBron
who was
James.
known
And
worldwide.
even y'all Jordan
And
fans
the
can't
NBA
argue
today
me
would not
on
be the
that.
same
On the
if it was
court,
not for Michael
most
Jordan,
influential would
having
have to
a
be
huge influence on the
Jordan, but
international
off the
basketball
court,
culture.
most influential
And
is
I think
LeBron
one
by
thing that Jordan
far.
had an
By
underrated
far.
impact in is that
And
he
if y'all
showed
deny that in
teams
the
and
comments, then
GMs
y'all are just
that
wrong.
You don't need a big
Y'all are
man
just
to win a
wrong.
championship. Prior to Jordan winning 6 championships, it was common knowledge you needed a dominant big man to win. You need a guy like Wilt, Moses, Bill Russell, Kareem, Hakeem. You need a dominant big man to win championships. And Jordan, he changed that, and he revolutionized what it meant to be a score-first guard. And he had a huge impact on guys like Kobe, Vince Carter, T-Mac, Allen Iverson, all guys who would go on to influence future generations. So I think Jordan, being the most influential player of all time,
I've never even
only
watched
contributes
Allen Iverson
to his case as
highlights.
the GOAT. Now, at reason number 2 of why Jordan is the GOAT is because he has so many iconic and memorable moments.
You should have
I'm
flipped
gonna
these
name a
around.
couple,
You should have had
but there's
this like
just tons and tons
9
of
or
iconic
10.
games
Your points are
as
getting more
well as iconic
trash.
moments. The first one I can think of is game winner in the national championship at UNC when he was a freshman. And that was kind of the start of Jordan becoming a superstar, not only in college, but also for NBA fans. The 8-8 slam dunk contest is also iconic. He had the free throw line dunk that won the contest versus Dominique. He had the 55-point game, the double nickel in Madison Square Garden, only a few games after his comeback. He has the playoff record 63 points versus the Boston
Is that Bird?
Celtics, the most ever in NBA history, and he did that against 5 Hall of Famers.
Gotta watch
He has the
Larry
shrug
Bird
game in the
stuff.
finals, where he had 6 threes
He
in the
looks
first half,
trash.
including a record 35 first half
Got
points.
Oscar Robinson.
He had the game in '91 where he switched hands in midair for absolutely no reason. Just
No
another
reason.
iconic moment for Michael Jordan. And the last 3 iconic Jordan moments that really stick out to me are the flu game in '97, when the Bulls were down 16 points, but Jordan would find a way to score 38 points, including a clutch three-pointer that would give the Bulls a Game 5 victory. And of course, you have the shot over Craig Elo, one of the most iconic moments in sports history. He fakes right, goes left, hangs in the air, holds
That's
his
crazy.
pose, shoots it, nothing but net, and he fist pumps at the end. Just an iconic and extraordinary moment. But the most iconic moment in Jordan's
Looked like he
career,
was
and
knocking a
possibly in
ghost head
NBA
off.
history, and is definitely up there for sports history, is Jordan's last shot as a Bull in Game 6 of the '98 Finals. And everyone knows this
And y'all
shot
be trying to act like
drives
his
right,
Wizards years
pulls
don't
back,
count.
and hits nothing
Yeah,
but
it
net,
counts.
and gives the Bulls their
It
6th
100%
championship.
counts.
Just another iconic moment for the GOAT, Michael Jordan. Now, the last reason I have of why Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time
Highest peak of
is
all
the fact
time.
that he has the highest peak in NBA history from 1987 to 1993.
No.
And during this stretch, Jordan
Boy,
was the
LeBron
most
had
athletic
what?
player in
Stop
the
it.
NBA. Could
Stop
dunk
it.
on anybody.
I'm not even
had
listening to
great
that.
handle,
Nope.
straight shooting.
I'm not even listening to that. LeBron has the longest and best peak. I don't care what nobody says. Come on now. On every team, he's at a different level of being the best player in the league, bro. At least being top 5. Nah, I can get with a lot of the stuff that they're saying. Like, I'm biased, but I'm not dumb. But, nah, that last one is bull. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think down in the description below. I need y'all to tell me some people to react to because I haven't watched none of these basketball players like Allen Iverson, Larry Bird, Magic, whatever. I think they're all probably not as good as they said they were or people say they are. But I also said that about Jordan, and Jordan is legit. Goodbye.